Hello, Cliffy here from Cliff Dive into Movies, and let's take a deep dive to 1985 and let's talk about Life Force.
On Friday, a naked girl is not going to get out of this complex.
Ask any sci fi or horror movie fan who hasn't seen Life Force about Life Force, and they will say, "Isn't that the one with the naked lady in it?" I mean, yes, it does have a naked lady in it, but seriously, it's not the only movie ever made to have a naked woman in it. The movie is all over the place, but in a good way. Seriously, it's a bit underappreciated, but it is a good movie. After the critical and commercial success of Poltergeist, director Tobe Hooper signed a three-picture deal with Cannon Films. The three films would be Life Force in 1985, followed by Invaders from Mars, and The Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, both in 1986. The movie was based on the book Space Vampires by Colin Wilson, published in 1976, and the script was written by Dan O'Bannon and Don DeCopi. John Dykstra, famous for his work on Star Wars, Battlestar Galactica, and Star Trek The Motion Picture, supervised the special effects. Life Force stars Steve Railsbeck as Colonel Tom Carlson, Peter Firth as Colonel Colin Kane, Frank Finley as Dr. Hans Falada, Patrick Stewart as Dr. Armstrong, and Mathilda May as Space Girl. No, that's actually what she's called in the credits. The other two aliens are Chris Jagger, son of Mick Jagger, as first vampire, and Bill Malin as second vampire. Filming took place in England between February and June of 1984. Obviously, the standout person in the movie is Patrick Stewart, Jean-Luc Picard in Star Trek The Next Generation. Oh, you thought I was going to say Mathilda May. Yes, she does make quite the impression. Her birthday is February 8th, 1965, which means if my math is right, she turned 19 during filming. May is French and did not speak English at the start of filming. She spoke her lines phonetically, but she did learn to speak English during the filming of the movie.
The woman I found there in your deepest thoughts, your deepest needs.
Being naked in England in February could not have been much fun. Mathilda May went around completely naked for her scenes. However, the two male vampires in all their scenes did not go completely naked. They had to wear something similar to a sideless bikini. I'm not going to describe it here, but you can Google it. It doesn't sound very comfortable. The movie went way over budget and took much longer to film than originally planned, but Canon Films liked the movie and were willing to spend the extra money. The final budget was around $25 million, about $75 million in 2024. It made about $11 million in the US, about $31 million in 2024. To put it mildly, it was a bomb. Reviews were lukewarm at best. The original book author, Colin Wilson, thought it was the worst movie he had ever seen. The British people seemed to take offense to all of the sexuality and the nudity, and the Americans just thought it wasn't a very good movie. I'll explain later in the video why that was. There are a few reasons why the movie didn't do very well. Marketing didn't help. The book is called Space Vampires, but that was thought to be a silly name and it was changed to Life Force. However, I don't think Life Force is a bad name, but Space Vampires fits the tone of the movie far better. The US movie poster is this, and these are some of the international posters. I mean, the US version is nice, but the other posters are better. This is my favorite poster. I find it funny how sometimes they actually did end up using the name Space Vampires, and some of the movie posters don't mind telling you how the movie ends.
From body to body, from life to life, from man to woman, changing, growing, burning for our life force.
The trailers that were shown in movie theaters and on TV didn't really help convey what the story was about, but then when you have to make a PG trailer about a movie that the main character is sucking out the life out of people and she goes around naked, that does present a certain problem. And then there is the movie itself. The original cut of the movie was 128 minutes, and the movie was a science fiction movie with horror elements in it. The studio decided the movie was too long. They felt way too much time was spent on the spacewalk to the alien ship and scenes inside the alien ship, and that it slowed the movie down. So Tobe Hooper cut it down to 116 minutes, and this was the version released in Britain. TriStar Pictures released the movie in America and didn't like the movie at all, and didn't feel the movie was enough of a horror movie and cut the movie down to 101 minutes. Tobe Hooper was not involved in this version. If you cut a movie from 128 minutes to 116 minutes, it could still be a good movie. But if you then cut it down to 101 minutes, it's not going to be good, and it pretty much ruined the movie. Originally, the 101-minute version was the one that was put out on home video, but recently Shout Factory has released a Blu-ray DVD combo pack that has both the 116-minute version and the 101-minute version. Henry Mancini did the music for the original version of Life Force. That's the 116-minute version. But with TriStar Pictures editing the movie down to 101 minutes, a lot of the Mancini music wasn't able to be used because the timing of the music and the scenes are all wrong now. Henry Mancini wouldn't come back and redo the music, so Michael Kamen was brought in to do the music for essentially the American version of the movie. If you look on eBay, you'll notice that there are multiple CDs out there with Life Force soundtracks. The Michael Kamen one is the American version. There's also a CD that has an edited version of the Henry Mancini music. Not all the music that he wrote, but a good portion of it. And then there's also a version out there that has both the Henry Mancini score and the Michael Kamen scores. Life Force can be divided up into 3 different sections that have different feels to them. The first section is the science fiction space adventure section, but I'll admit this does have a certain alien feel to it. A joint British and American shuttle, the Churchill, discovers a 150-mile alien ship in the coma of Halley's Comet. They go into the ship and discover it is full of dead alien bat-like creatures. They also find 3 human-looking creatures, 1 woman and 2 men, held in suspended animation in glass containers. This is a deviation from the book. The movie takes place in 1986, and the alien ship is found in the coma of Halley's Comet. The book is set in the late 21st century, and the alien ship is found in an asteroid belt. The alien ship is not a model. Instead, the ship was painted on giant glass panels and has a lot of detail that unfortunately the movie doesn't really show. The interiors of the ship are giant sets and no green screen was used. During the entire movie, whenever you see the vampires in their glass containers, they are actually fiberglass models of the actors and not the real actors. The real actors were only used for the extreme close-ups. In the 116-minute version of the movie, this whole section has a feeling of dread, and the ship is really, really creepy. Despite the 101-minute version of the movie supposedly emphasizing the horror element of the movie, all of the dread is removed from this section. A month later, the Churchill has returned to Earth but makes no contact with Mission Control. The space shuttle Columbia is sent up to investigate and discovers the crew dead, the ship damaged by fire, the escape pod missing, and 3 naked people in containers in the tug bay. The 3 naked people are taken to the European Space Research Center, located in London, for examination. Before an autopsy can be performed on the woman, she wakes up and drains the life force from a guard and then makes her escape. You know, that research facility is a pretty clean place. There's no grocery store feet here. Mathilda May actually is walking on the glass in her bare feet, but they did put something on the bottoms of her feet to protect them. The 2 male aliens wake up, and they are presumed to be killed by the guards. The Churchill escape pod is found with Carlson inside, and he is sent to the research center to tell them what happened on the Churchill. One thing that the movie doesn't waste time with is that SAS agent Kane is brought in to investigate what's going on, and despite the fact that everybody's talking about vampires and aliens, he immediately believes what they're saying and takes it for granted that they're telling the truth and never doubts them. Also, unless I missed something, it looks like the Churchill only had 1 escape pod, and it looks like it only fits 1 person. Carlson tells them he opened the woman's container and shared some of his life force with her. He explains that she killed the crew, and Carlson burned the shuttle so that the aliens wouldn't make it to Earth. Obviously, he failed, and then he escaped in the escape pod. Now we have the first tone shift, and now begins the second part of the movie. This part of the movie is the Alien on the Loose movie. Carlson and Kane are tracking the female vampire. Carlson has a psychic connection with the female vampire, and they track her down to a psychiatric hospital. They believe they have trapped her in Dr. Armstrong's body. While the female vampire inhabits Dr. Armstrong's body, Carlson interrogates her. The 101-minute version severely cuts this conversation down. In the 116-minute version, her motivations and her attraction to Carlson are revealed. Also, Carlson and Dr. Armstrong have a real quick kiss.
Touch me, Carlson.
Let me go. Let me go. go! Let me go! Let me go! Let me go! No! Let me go! Let me go! Let me go!
Meanwhile, it turns out the two male vampires weren't killed and survived and have been infecting the people of London while Carlson and Kane were looking for a space girl. Dr. Falada has also figured out how to kill them because he killed one of the vampires with an ancient weapon made from leaded iron. Okay, I have to be honest, I had to look this up because I thought this was made up for the movie, but leaded iron is an alloy created when molten lead is added to molten iron, but it is difficult to make because of the different melting points. Carlson tracks the female vampire to St. Paul's Cathedral, and King goes to get the weapon from Falada at the research center. For some reason, and I don't know why, I thought it was a nice touch that they show that they've already started to repair the windows from when the space girl made her escape from the research center.
There is life after death.
How do you know?
There is a certain mental transference, telepathy that occurs between the vampires and their victims.
Dr. Falada reveals that he has been infected, and Kane kills him. Kane then goes to St. Paul and kills the second vampire and gets the weapon to Carlson. While embracing the female vampire, he stabs her and then goes into the beam to the alien ship. The ship returns to Halley's Comet. As the ship flies back towards Halley's Comet, it can be seen that now it has been powered up. When the male vampire gets killed and we finally see what their true forms looks like, that's actually a 3-foot model that has an 8-foot wingspan.
It'll be much less terrifying if you just come to me.
And that is Lifeforce. I hope you liked the video as much as I liked making it. My name's Cliffy. Check out other videos on my channel, Cliff Dive into Movies, and see you soon.